The purpose of this video is to analyse Oxford's townscape and its sense of place, through which I'll be referring to Cullen. My route starts from Merton Street through King Edward Street before reaching the High Street. After crossing the High Street, I turned right down Tail Street and followed it to Broad Street. The first thing that should be mentioned is that the road surface is different to that of the High Street. The cobbled road is an example of the historic side of Oxford, and in conjunction with the residential buildings on the right, there is a rather quiet atmosphere. The wall on the left-hand side helps to distinguish the private space and the public space. The spikes are a form of deterrent for potential trespassers, further differentiating this private and public space. As we walk further down Merton Street, buildings are built in a more rigid, linear fashion, with buildings constructed on both sides. The Oxford University buildings are set back approximately 1 metre from the road. Added to the fact that the buildings are around 11 metres tall, it creates a rather intimidating feel. The equal distance of the recession of the windows and the chimney stacks portray the uniform of the university buildings. Here we can see the fluctuation of the road, leading people further beyond Merton College Chapel. The building on the left acts as a screen, so there's a degree of anticipation of what buildings are around the corner. Merton College Chapel acts as an incident, which is a special building standing out in the streetscape. It stands out more so not because of its grandeur, but because it is set back further from the street than the neighbouring buildings. It commands more space, therefore dominating the street. Once again, the private space is clearly defined by a fence, but also by the freshly cut grass behind. As we reach the end of Merton Street, we are faced with a large arc that leads into Canterbury Gate Picture Gallery. There's an element of mystery of what is around the corner. As we turn onto King Edward Street, we are somewhat surprised of what we are seeing. This contrasts greatly to Merton Street, as the sky is a lot more visible and the area is generally a lot more spacious. Standing here, we are presented with 3 different exits, almost making us feel as if we are in a plaza. As we approach the High Street, the first thing that you notice is the increase in noise. The movement from cobbled streets to paved tarmac illustrates that the High Street is important to the functioning of the city. The university buildings opposite are extremely symmetrical and elegant. Down the High Street, there is a sense of here-ness and there-ness, with Carfax, the grand vista, at the end of the High Street. Pedestrians are funneled down Tail Street, and the punctuation of the buildings mean the street is a lot narrower than the High Street. The here-ness and there-ness is created through the change in building levels. There is a sense of enclosure, with the buildings projecting and encouraging people to move on. The end of Tail Street makes it obvious that cars are discouraged as electric road bollards have been implemented. The narrowing of the street makes pedestrians realise that they are walking down a side road, which subsequently reduces noise levels. Exeter College is situated on the right hand side, and even through its elegance and grandeur, it is a hugely unfriendly building which makes the street rather dark and gloomy. The bay windows are protruding onto the pavement, but generally the windows recede back into the building. This final clip portrays Broad Street and displays a large open space within it. By comparing the High Street with Broad Street, we can understand the function of Tail Street to be a connecting path. The main observation is the use and function of the buildings. Buildings on the left are of mainly commercial use, whereas the buildings on the right have the purpose for university students. Where the commercial buildings are painted in bright colours such as orange and blue, the university buildings are left bare, exposed in the sandstone. I have learnt from this project of the important relationship between buildings and street network. I will be applying Cullen's concept into my design proposals at Grand Point.